Hello there, I'm Mrs. Durrett and welcome to our Parents Information video for Year 11. As mentioned in previous correspondence, my role is to track progress and to help your daughter to achieve her potential. So this video will focus on some key messages. By now, our catch-up and exam technique sessions after school are well underway. And you've received a timetable for this. I'll show it in this video later on. Please do encourage your daughter to take advantage of these sessions and the teacher instruction that may well have been lacking during lockdown. On a Wednesday, whilst it's not compulsory for a student to attend a session, largely due to our staff training, I would strongly urge them all to spend 45 minutes in the IT rooms made available specifically for Year 11s. They should really ideally make this part of their weekly routine. We have Learning for Life days coming up to help students to cope with the exam stress. It is a stressful time for students. There will be tears of sadness and tears for joy throughout. And we will give them mechanisms to help them cope with that. But not just that, we will give them advice and ideas on how to prepare themselves for the post-CHSG world, although we would of course like as many of our students as possible to join us in our sixth form. Our mocks and preliminary examinations are probably more important now than they ever were before, given the situation we found ourselves in this year. Students need to take these seriously and give them their best. Waiting till after Christmas to start revising is simply too late, and we don't want any students to leave us with regret. So we will have English and Maths mocks in November, and all other mocks will take place the week before and then the week after the February half term, as the roadmap will show you shortly. The idea there is to break up that exam stress for the students, to break up that exam fatigue, and to give them time to recover and revise for the next lot coming up. I'll also talk about the best way to revise and give parents top tips on how they can help their daughter achieve maximum success. But I guess the key message is that students must start now. They must start revising their information. They must start organising their knowledge and maintain that focus until the end of the exam period. So as you can see, here was our roadmap. And this walks you through what is coming up and when. We have incentives such as the pink t-shirts, and that will be based on rewards such as attendance and achievement, and obviously teacher nominations. I won't talk you through all of this because you have got this already, but it is worth a look through and just to acknowledge the different steps as your daughter passes each one. We have here our after school catch up. Now obviously once our students have caught up, this won't disappear and it will evolve, it will turn into exam technique sessions, it will turn into revision sessions, like guided sessions. So as you can see, the ones with the C at the end in purple is compulsory for all. Again, that may change as teachers realise that some need a little bit more help than others, or some are struggling with particular techniques or exam questions. But for now, the majority of subjects have made it compulsory, and I would urge all students to take advantage, certainly of the ones that are not compulsory, to go along to as many as they can. So how students learn is this. They learn something, they pay attention to something in a lesson, and they start to take it in, and that sits in their working memory. So they're learning it. Now, just because they've been taught it doesn't necessarily mean they've learnt it, because we've only really learnt something if it's committed to our long-term memory. And we only really commit something to our long-term memory if we've met a concept or an idea at least 3 times. So this is where we need to give ourselves time to forget something and then retrieve it and come back and relearn it and forget it and retrieve it again. And over time, that will then commit that knowledge to our long-term memory. So that's why staying up the night before and just cramming for a test actually has very, very little impact. Little and often is proving to be much more beneficial. Also, chunking work down, saying I'm going to look at maybe 5 different items today. I'm going to do 5 different sections, and I'm going to chunk it together and spend no longer than maybe 15-20 minutes on each one. And then I'll do the same the next night and the same the next night. And chunking and splitting up and spacing that work out. So you're not just spending hours on one thing, because eventually you'll stop taking it in, but short, sharp little sessions and switching between topics, switching between subjects, again, research has shown has been much more beneficial to our ability to recall information. Now, some top revision tips and techniques for maximum success. There are ways to increase your productivity and your concentration. One is not to have music on. It actually is proven to just divide your attention. Well, whilst you might think, oh, it's fine, I'm not really listening to it, it's background noise, whether it's the TV, whether it's music, all it's actually doing is keeping a little part of your brain focused on it, and therefore not allowing your full attention to be focused onto your reading or your revision. So turn the phones off, turn the music off, turn the TV off. My best advice is to put the phone away in a drawer and to sit in a quiet room, but to make your study time no more than perhaps an hour. Stop for a break, maybe 1 more hour, and then stop. Don't sit and study all night. It's actually not beneficial. Revision postcards are very, very good. Cue cards, making it anything that you can quickly recall small chunks of information. My personal favourite is the Anki app. It's a free to download app, and you can build up decks of information, of key terms, and it's essentially a flashcard app that you can use on your phone. So this is when your phone is useful. You can pay to upgrade it, and therefore you can put as many decks on there as possible. Actual medical students use this because they have so much terminology and techniques and medicines to remember that this is how they use, and this is what they use to remember. So I'd recommend it for our GCSE students. Read and recite. One of the best ways to learn also is to read information, cover it over, and then to verbally, and it has to be out loud, say it, to recite the information. So encourage your daughter to go to her room, don't worry if she's going to be talking, and to just be talking out loud, because she'll be reading information and then reciting it. Or perhaps encourage your daughter to recite the information to you. Practice questions. Practice will make perfect, and practice will make permanent. The more you practice, the more it's going to stick. And so I recommend many practice papers. If you buy revision guides, and this usually comes with practice questions at the end, doing as many of these as possible. Teachers are more than willing to mark everything that comes their way. And another technique is the Pomodoro and the memory clock. Pomodoro's the idea that you do revision in 25-minute installments. Then you stop for a 5 or 10 minute break, and then you set that timer again. Essentially, it's like a little kitchen timer. But then you have to stop. You have to stop after 25 minutes, have a rest, and start again, because they say that after 25 minutes our attention starts to fade, we start to lose our focus, and so therefore short, sharp sessions are more effective. Perhaps a memory clock as well, working around an hour where you do 15 minutes of one thing, stop for break, 15 minutes of something else until you've done a full hour, but then no more. I will be going through all of these techniques with your daughter in the course of the year, but it's nice for you to know too. Another way parents can help is by understanding that Tier 2 language is a demand on students, and they have to understand what these words are. So Tier 1 language is words used in everyday speech. We use it all the time. Tier 3 language is specific, domain and subject specific terms that we will be teaching in our subjects. But Tier 2 language are words that have high frequency, and they're found in many content areas, but not words that students will come across on everyday language. So words like assess, evaluate, criticise, critique. These are all words that sometimes catch students out. So starting to be aware of Tier 2 language is very, very useful. And I'll be sending over time some Tier 2 vocabulary for you that comes up regularly in exam questions, and that's where you could help go through this with your daughter. So some further top 10 tips to support your child through their exams. 1. Be a role model. Set a good example by modelling the behaviour you want your child to adopt. Planning for the week, eating healthily, keeping hydrated, getting enough sleep and exercise, staying calm and being organised. Encourage goal setting. Talk to your daughter about her goals, what she wants to achieve and how she can do that. Give positive reinforcement and connect with her about why and what she wants to achieve. Keep active. Encourage exercise. Go for a walk or a cycle together. Get some fresh air. Do some yoga perhaps together and take time out to visit the gym. After exercise, your brain functions well, so encourage a revision session afterwards. Not too late into the evening though. Eat healthily. Plan family meals. Ensure there are lots of healthy snacks around, and know that hydration is key to brain function. So make sure your daughter drinks plenty of water. Number 5 is take time out. Encourage your daughter to build in opportunities to take some time out every week away from study. For example, go out for some food, see some friends, have a bath and read a book that's non-educational, just a good old novel. Do a hobby, watch a movie together. Taking time out is just as important as putting time in. Control sleep patterns. Young people need between 8 and 9 hours sleep per night, and that includes students up until the age of 19. Make sure your daughter doesn't eat too late and avoids caffeine or sugary drinks in the evening. Model that behaviour and do so as well. Encourage your daughter to unplug from technology at least 30 minutes to an hour before going to bed. When revising, ensure your daughter puts her phone away in a drawer and resists that temptation to look at it. Be that parent that monitors that. Say we don't want to divide our attention and prevent full focus. Set a good example by staying calm yourself. Create a relaxing environment for your child and help them to plan out coping strategies to deal with their stress. Some stress can actually be helpful, but too much can impede learning. And belief. Boost your daughter's confidence every day and celebrate any successes. Perhaps reward her for mini goals achieved throughout the year, such as completing a piece of coursework. Most importantly, show her how proud you are of her. And finally, be supportive. Be a good listener, be approachable, help her deal with emotions and feelings. Essentially, just be there for her. Now, we wish all our Year 11s the biggest amount of luck, and we'll help them in every way we possibly can so that they can ensure success. But it does have to come from them as well, and we hope that you will support them through this, and we will be there for them and want to celebrate that success with them. If you have any questions or any concerns at all, please do get in touch with myself, Mrs. Durrett, or our Head of Year, Mr. Stockwell, and we will more than happily help. Thank you.